Detroit, yeah, Mikey B stepping back once again. We're getting into it. NBA previews, reviews, and you're looking at the Detroit basketball. Yeah, Detroit Pistons back in there, showing my age because that was when they were winning. They used to say that all the time. Now we're in the house looking at their new squad. We're going to first take a look at all the transactions and movements as usual so we can see this long list of moves for the Detroit Pistons. Maybe this look will be better. Let's go into here. So a couple guys that you're scratching your head about. These were the free agents for this coming year. Anthony Lamb, LiAngelo Ball. This is a guy who they signed. Zaire Smith, another guy. Dwayne Dedmon, Brandon Knight, Christian Wood. What a foolish thing there, right? John Henson, Jordan Bone, McRae, Langston Galloway, Lewis King, and Thon Maker. Now, let's look at who they signed out of that list, okay? Free agents, rights renounced and not signed. Bone is gone, went over to Orlando Magic. I don't know where McRae is at. I don't know where Lewis King is at. I don't know where Brandon Knight's at. I don't know where John Henson's at. Langston Galloway, I'm not sure if he re-signed or not. We'll take a look at the roster. Thon Maker is gone as well. Huge moves by this team, I guess. Looking in a new direction and possibly salary cap issues, right? Who they end up signing? LiAngelo Ball ends up signing a small contract. So does Anthony Lamb. But remember, those guys were just waived off, so let's forget about those guys. Jahlil Okafor, big offseason move. I'm just jumping over because I don't believe Servetus is on this team. Jahlil Okafor, huge move for them and getting this guy the back to the basket burner. I thought he was one of the better handling big men on the inside for a long time. Just never got the opportunity. Guess what? Without Drummond there, without Christian Wood, what a stupid move and letting him go. But without those two, it's your team, Jahlil. He's going to probably have his biggest season of his career. Josh Jackson is added over from Memphis, back home, former superstar, guy that I thought would be a poor man's Tracy McGrady. Never got it going, never got the jumper going. His opportunity to shine, I think, is dwindling and really coming out to be. He's now really going to become a role player when he was supposed to be a superstar. So that's just how things round up, right? You go to the wrong team, it's a wrap. I mean, that's what happens. That's just what happens. Mason Plumlee signed, big signing from Denver. Wayne Ellington, the sharpshooting three-pointer guy. Isaiah Stewart, the big draftee. I love this pickup for them. A steal draft out of Washington. Another back-to-the-basket guy similar to Jahlil Okafor. They also added in Killian Hayes, okay? Big guard from France. This is their number one pick, first round. He can possibly pay dividends for them. The floating millionaire. I love what he does on the court. Saban Lee is added as well as Sadiq Bey to round up their draft. So be interesting to see what happens there. Who did they sign? Big time, big contract for Jeremy Grant. Ends up going on a team where he's going to be probably the second. We call it the second guy in charge when it comes to points and rebounds, etc. Yeah, he's the number 2 on this team, in my opinion, even though they have some other talent with Derrick Rose, etc. But with the salary he's getting, he's going to have to be the number 2. We talked about the draft signings. I didn't talk much about Nikolai Radigovic. Don't know where he's at, but some of the acquisitions that they made in the summertime as well was DeLon Wright, Ariza for a little bit, Zaire Smith for a little bit. They just let him go, and then Tony Bradley. Okay, so now let's look at the current roster and what they have. I mentioned a couple ways, right? Mentioned LiAngelo Ball. That would have been a nice hookup. All these guys are traded. So Ellington was traded, right? Ariza, Dedmon, gone, right? So all those guys are, again, this was the trade in. Now let's look at the current roster in the depth chart for this team. Killian Hayes comes in as the potential starter. So looks like they're still going to keep Rose in the backer role, which is interesting, even though I believe he may be starting. We'll see how that ends up. But the Hayes are going to give him the keys and say, start driving, because, again, if you're not winning a championship, no matter how good Rose is, you got to build for the future. Rose is older, and if you're not going to get in the next 2 years, why not play your rookie, get him some time? So I understand that. Their third guard, DeLon Wright, is a dog as well, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does at the point guard role. However, an interesting feat here is they have him as a starter on this depth chart on CBS. I would prefer Svi Mykhailiuk. I've been singing his praises for a while. Svi needs to get into the starting position. He's going to have a career year. I think he'll move into that. DeLon Wright will go to the bench and be a well-reserved reserve man for either point guard or guard position. They also have Jordan McRae. Rodney McGruder is there. And then Wayne Ellington, the sharpshooter. I think Wayne Ellington or Rodney moves into that second slot. once the season gets going. Wayne, obviously, more of a three-point shooter, so he'll come in for that. Now, this is where it gets interesting for this team, and I think they're probably stacked pretty well because shooting guard a little bit light. Point guard, I think they're very solid. Need to see how Killian Hayes weighs up. Small forward, Jay Grant, however you want to call it, big athletic specimen. I thought he was one of the keys to giving some of the Lake Show problem because of his ability, his length, his athleticism. Dude was a dog. I don't care what nobody says. He was a dog. It is what it is. Sequoia Doumbouya comes in at number 2. Big draft pick, not getting minutes. He looks good in the preseason. Interesting to see how he lands up in the regular season. I will mention Josh Jackson here, right? If Josh Jackson can come alive a little bit, I still think he has potential. I think it's all about the role on your team and what you play. Let me give you a perfect picture of this. Josh Jackson's jump shot was not there. He's starting to gain that. It's a little bit offshoot. Shoots it from, I think from his chest and pumps up. I haven't seen it this year in detail, but I believe I've seen him knock down a couple. If he improves that, think about Gerald Green on the Houston Rockets. Look how many teams Gerald Green had to go to and finally gets an opportunity to show himself. So that's huge for the Detroit Pistons in getting a potential superstar. Let me not say it. Sorry, brother. A potential MIP player in Josh Jackson now. Not superstar. Can't be. But Josh Jackson gets an opportunity. I think instead of putting him at the small forward, should be looking at Josh Jackson in this shooting guard position. Maybe fight Shvee at one point. Maybe Josh. Maybe get an opportunity at another starting role once again. So I like to see Killian Hayes, Jeremy, Josh Jackson in there. But I like Shvee. I think Shvee's solid, man. I really do. I don't think Josh takes Shvee's spot. He can do so many things. You got Jeremy Grant there, Sequoia Doumbouya at the backup, which is amazing. Then you add on power forward in the name of Blake Griffin. Still there. Blake's still there. Jeremy can be his backup. Sequoia can be his backup. But then you add in Sadiq Bey, the draft pick. They got a lot of interchangeable parts. Maybe go small with Josh Jackson. I think this is where they're pretty solid at in this small forward position. They have a lot of different chess pieces they can put in there. Center position, Mason Plumlee gets a start. Big rebounder. Is getting an opportunity to play. Isaiah Stewart looks like the backup. However, I believe it's Jahlil Okafor that comes in. I don't know if Jahlil will be able to take Mason Plumlee's role, who plays defense, gets rebounds, blocks shots. He is your standard NBA center. I'm not sure. And by the way, Mason has gained a lot of handle over the year. If you watch Mason play Plumlee lately, he got some handle. I don't know if his shot's not there, but he can handle the ball, man. Great job for him over the summer and getting something up, right? I wish it was the jump shot. However, for him to be able to create for himself, I'm saying that now, he can create for himself. Being exciting to see as he continues to develop, even at the latter stages of his career. Gotta love that, right? Gotta love that. So center position, I like them here. They're very solid here. Is this enough for these guys to sneak in the playoffs? It all depends on Big G, right? Big Blake Griffin. Depends on what they're getting from him. He's not going to be the athletic superstar that he was on the Clippers, but he's a better player now. See, when you lose the athleticism, you start to get some skill set. I'm going to say this. I just contradicted myself. He's like an athletic Paul Millsap at this time, right? A little bit more athletic Paul Millsap. That means he can do everything on the floor. He can score from three-point land. He can handle. He can drive. He doesn't necessarily need to jump anymore. He really doesn't. So everyone's saying he can't dunk. That was for show. He's a better player now. So I like Blake, the age Blake. I think if he can give him 24, 20, 23 points a game, that's where they need to be at. Jeremy Grant's going to have to come through. He's going to have to prove his contract this time around, and he's going to get the ball. He's going to get shots. So he's going to have to give you between 16 and 18 points per game. The X factor that really needs to show out for them to make this playoff run will be either Rose or Hayes. They need to be in double digits and near 7 to 8 assists per game with these two. And I think they're more than capable. Probably Rose is going to step up first versus Killian Hayes. 3-point shooting, that's where I see a little bit of a lag. You only got Wayne Ellington there as your true sharp shooting gun. Who else is really there? Grant and Griffin can shoot there, but they're not like a consistent, Joe Harris off of the Brooklyn Nets. So that's the question mark. But they're going to be the surprise team because of all that they've garnered here. I wish they would have kept Thon Maker, right? Another one of those young guys that can do it all, but they got too much here. So it's like, where are we going to play this kid? We drafted Sadiq Bey. We got Isaiah Stewart. It's a lot there, so it's gonna be tough for them to pick up another player. Even Zaire Smith, a guy who I think definitely could have helped out in the shooting guard role with McCray, Magruder. It's just too much. The league is getting, it is getting crowded. So there's a lot of players that are good that are not playing right now just because there's too many players out there. So I do think this is an exciting team. Let's look at how they end up on the east side. I mentioned it. Magic, Miami Heat for sure, in my opinion. Milwaukee Bucks, and then it's an asterisk for all of these teams. And I have stated that I think Detroit possibly can sneak in with the team that they have. However, there's a lot of teams running, right? There's the Pacers that always make things happen somehow, some way, and then you got the Chicago Bulls, who could be scary if their young gunners can start to light it up. The Atlanta division, forget about it. They are stacked all the way through. Knicks, they're not making the playoffs. You can just look at the schedule here with these guys. They're going to be in trouble. But the Sixers, Raptors, Nets, and Celtics, whoo, yeah, that's a tough tourney there with these guys. The Sixers did lose a lot. We'll go over them next and figure out how they end up. But there is a chance Detroit makes the 8th slot. So exciting day for me to go over the Detroit Pistons and the changes. Great GM management. I got them barely making the playoffs. Okay, I hate to put myself out there with this team, but I think they can. I think they can squeeze it out, barring no injuries. Okay, so and one of these Sixers, one of these guys is gonna have to in Indiana are gonna be teams that are not gonna have. They're not gonna make it. So it is what it is. I'm going to sign off here, stepping back one time for you guys. Detroit Pistons make some nice moves over the summer. Let's see if we can pay some dividends. I'm out of here. Peace. Step back.